Hey, it's Cap's CarCast. Today we're talking about Ken Burns. Let's drive.
Get down. Get down. Get down.
Something interesting that has developed for me through Cap's CarCast that I want to share with you. So, listen, we talked about the importance of marketing the other day and how you prioritize it in episode 3, all about Johnny Appleseed. So here it is right here. You want to go ahead and figure out why you got to slap that pot on top of your head, start planting seeds. But more importantly is the consistency and the manner in which we communicate really matters, especially in today's day and age where the communication channels are so vast and so complex and really two-way in nature like they've never been before, right? Again, I don't necessarily care what you call it, digital, social, mobile, whatever. The point is we're communicating constantly. So look, here's what I've noticed through doing this. Now, look, I've seen so much bad PowerPoint in my career. There should be a license. You should have to take a license before you use PowerPoint. Again, I have children. I have an 8-year-old son who's in 2nd grade. They teach him PowerPoint, and I cringe when he comes home because they're teaching him bullet points and silly animation, things like that. They're not teaching these children how to use it to communicate, and what it is used for as a visual aid. So what's the enlightenment for me that I've discovered through the effort of doing Cap's CarCast? Well, it is this. I started to use Adobe Premiere Pro, which I've never used before up until about a month or 2 ago, to put these videos together to make that little intro that you saw. And now again, I like to connect the dots here, so stick with me a little bit. Adobe Premiere Pro is new to me, and it's very intuitive. It's incredibly easy to use, and I like it. I'll get back to that in a second. There's another presentation tool out there called Prezi. Now, I used Prezi a couple years ago, and I really liked it. I stopped using it because, quite frankly, it's not as easy to use and to get it right, where the level of production that I wanted, and it's time consuming. I mean, you really have to it's very visual. So because it's so visual, it really escalates the amount of effort you need to give to a presentation. But I've done PowerPoint for years, and I like to think I'm pretty good at it. So how do I connect all these dots? Well, it's this. Adobe Premiere Pro is exactly that. It is a film editing software. But again, it's so intuitively easy to use that because of my experience using both PowerPoint and Prezi, that I was naturally inclined to move things around the way I wanted to introduce things like the pop-up photos, to the smooth transitions. I love the way that it allows me to put emphasis into what I'm saying with the visual or with the music that I'm using. Now, again, I know it sounds kind of complex here, but this whole thing comes together because it is the ultimate visual aid, right? Because it's video, audio, and you're communicating in some way. Now, let's shift gears back down to PowerPoint here for a second, right? Because that is the key here. PowerPoint should be used. Look, I love the tool, but it needs to be respected for what it is worth. And its worth is this, that it is a way to assist whatever you're using to communicate. It should never be the sole mechanism and means of communication. So how do I achieve this? How do I accomplish a shift from terrible PowerPoint and bad bullet points into a stunning visual aid to encapsulate and punctuate what I'm saying? Well, here's what I think you should do. Ken Burns. Go look at one of Ken Burns' documentaries. My favorite's baseball, but all of them are fabulous. What Ken Burns does is he uses his documentary style, if that's even a word, documentation style, I don't know how to say it. His documentaries use the visuals to punctuate what he's saying. The narrative and what he's saying is what's important, and the visual never gets in the way of what he's saying and how he's narrating the story, or the narrator's narrating the story. Now, the beauty of that, and why you need to go take a look at Ken Burns and spend a half an hour, that's what your goal is. If you're motivated by this, I want you to stop what you're doing, or tonight or whatnot. If you're a Netflix subscriber, almost all his documentaries are on Netflix. Go watch 1/2 hour of any one of his documentaries, and you'll see what I mean. He uses the visual to underscore and punctuate the narrative. All right? So let's pull all this together. By the way, I throw Prezi in there because Prezi is way closer to the way film moves than the way PowerPoint moves. moves. Okay, you could really pan and zoom and pull the camera in and out. I wrote an old blog post, I'll link that up right here, about how to use and think about Prezi. So go take a look at that if you're interested in that. But that's why I bring that up. All right, so bringing this home, here's the assignment. Go look at Ken Burns. Remember that your marketing prioritization really matters for the future and the harvest that you want to reap in the future. And then begin to start to communicate in a way that connects the visual to punctuate the narrative.